Welcome back to hydroponics and gardening. So far, as you can see, it is grown pretty well. The red sales lettuce is about to get to the ceiling level. But one thing that I've been able to notice, because it's been a lot less, populated with leaves, is that the red sales has four different offshoots. You have this one right down here, this one right over here, this main one, and you got this back one right here. So 4 total. No wonder it spread so vastly over the area. And then this is the marvel of 4 seasons lettuce. It goes up from down there and up and all the way up here. Now this is so far the level here. It is very tall so far, and on the end, if you can see these are most likely going to become buds and eventually become seeds. So I'm eventually going to have seeds soon for this, and then I'll grow it in a pot. Over here, looking at the apple tree, so far we have a really good sprout going on. So these two down there, you see those 2 leaves? Those ones are the first succession leaves, and then it grows up. And these smaller ones right here are the second succession leaves. Now, if you notice, they are very different if I can zoom in on it. As you can see, the first succession leaves are a lot more smoother, and then the second succession leaves almost look more like an actual apple leaf. But as you can see over here, we got 2 sprouts. This one is trying to find out how to take off the seed. And this right here is the seed cap for the one. So I'll just put that over there. But there's another sprout over here, which is already dead, of course. Now, my biggest fear with growing these apple trees is, if it can be seen, oh, there's a sprout there. We'll cover it back up. But there are tiny little mites in here, or aphids, whatever type of bugs are in here. Meaning the bag of soil which I poured into here is compromised, and so far has a bunch of bugs in them, which I am a little bit worried for the life of the sprouts. I mean, just in general, they should not all be in the same pot, because they'll be competing for resources and water, and it slows down the sprouting process. But so far, this is what I have to do. Now, if I can get some planter mix and all that, not too expensive, then I can replace the soil, and then she'll be good. Well, that's what I have going on so far. Inside, along with the mentor here, sort of dying a little bit if it expands out too much because the light cannot see it, but luckily it's growing upwards this time. Just like the westward expansion, it got to expand up. Now, going outside in just a few moments, you'll see that the sunflowers are doing a lot better than they were before. Now, over on this side, there is the tomato, the heirloom tomato, and it is not looking so hot. These are all lettuce and tomato leaves in here, mainly lettuce, thank goodness. But the tomato is not looking so hot. It's competing for space and light right now, and probably also water, since the roots go down. Now, as you can see, there are not many leaves. There's just these 3 main ones. So I repositioned it. Instead of it shooting that way, is shooting this way more towards the light and allowing this part of the Marble Four Seasons to just sort of go its own separate path, overgrowing the vast desk area. Well, that's all for inside. Now time to go outside. Going outside, as you can see, so far the maple is not doing so well. It lost another leaf earlier, and this is its last leaf. But as you can see, it sort of has this bigger base, and it slowly comes up. If you can see, those are nicks on there. Sort of look like it, but that just shows how it's grown upwards. Sadly, I do not think it will be alive for much longer. Now, the reason why it probably did not survive is because of, in general, the weather out here. It can be very windy, which blows away the water, and it can be hot at times, which can also evaporate the water. Another reason is probably because its root base was not as developed, meaning it could not get that water. Now, moving on to the second sunflower. As you can see, it has this yellowish looking stem compared to the other one, and it's a lot smaller. So far, it is dried up its first succession leaves, and now has its second and third over here. And it's sort of winding around. Now this one, of course, does not have the luxury of growing up as straight as our prime specimen over here, which, as you can see, its first succession leaves over here are still attached, but we'll just knock those off since they're already dead. And then you'll see it goes up. Notice there's a pattern change right here, and this is where it sort of comes out. And of course, these are the secondary succession leaves right here, then the third succession leaves, and then finally we are about to have a blossom in the future times. This has all happened over the weekend so far, and as you can see, bugs and little critters have gotten to the one leaf, but it's still holding strong out in this weather. I need to water it about once every day, and clearly the maple needed it a lot more. Little bee coming in. Bee or wasp, can't see it so fast. Anyways, back to it. After I was rudely interrupted by that bee or wasp, this right here was my soil type of idea. My idea was to take some regular ground soil, which I found, and see how porous it would be. It was not porous at all, and as you can see, it soaked in that soil, but none of it got to the bottom. As you can see, those are dry bits of soil down there. So when it comes to potting soil, I'm going to need some more soil, and probably have to buy some, because this ground soil, regular ground soil, does not work, of course. So that is all for hydroponics today and gardening outside.